Hello everyone, today I'm going to be doing a history video, and that history is going to be of Carroll Park and Western Railroad Climax number 3, aka the Bloomsburg. Now this locomotive is one of my personal favorite locomotives just because, well, its history is kind of sad in my opinion. Now let's get into the history. But to do that, we need to go way back in December of 1928 on the Climax Locomotive Works, where it was built. The serial number being 1694, and it was built for the Elk River Coal and Lumber Company in West Virginia, where it hauled log trains, coal trains, and basically whatever the heck they needed. Then in 1955, the Elk River Coal and Lumber Company merged with the M.W. Ritter Lumber Co., and it was merged into the Georgia Pacific Corporation. The following year, in 1963, number 3 was purchased by a tourist railroad called the Carroll Park and Western Railroad in Pennsylvania, and coincidentally, the locomotive was built in Pennsylvania. Well, before that, it was kind of disassembled and left in a yard, but then it was put onto a flat car and sold off to its new home in Pennsylvania. So now we jump to Pennsylvania, or Bloomsburg, Pennsylvania to be exact. And it worked on the Carroll Park and Western Railroad for many years with another engine, a 040 tender engine, number 117. Now, the locomotive was repainted to a black paint scheme to all black, but the front smoke box was painted white, which honestly I think is pretty cool. And the Climax was given a name. Well, it was given a name prior to, but the locomotive was called Bloomsburg, and it operated in Bloomsburg, Pennsylvania, which was quite a cool coincidence. Then, in 1972, the park sadly closed, but then, in 1977, the locomotive was bought by Norman Clark for Roaring Camp and Big Trees Narrow Gauge Railroad. Then it was shipped from Pennsylvania to come all the way to California, where it resides today. The locomotive needed a very, very, very heavy rebuild because, well, after being left kind of abandoned on the deadline of the Carroll Park and Western, it was in need of a complete rebuild. And so it began. And in 1989, the boiler of number 5, which was going to be the new number of the locomotive, was sold to Dixon Boiler Works in, I think, Costa Mesa, California. I don't know. But then some major events happened. Norman Clark, the guy who purchased the locomotive, sadly passed away, and Mr. Dixon, the guy who owned Dixon Boiler Works, also passed away. After these losses, the locomotive's restoration was put on hold, with the boiler presumably being scrapped at Dixon Boiler Works. And after those people sadly passed away, again, as I said, locomotive's restoration was put on pause, and it was put on pause for quite a while. And, well, the locomotive looked like a shell of its former self. A rusted cab, rusted tank, parts that haven't been oiled in God knows how long, and, well, as I said, missing an entire boiler. But all hope isn't lost, because on October 1st, 2017, the locomotive's engine set was turned over on steam for the first time in, I think since it was retired in 1972. Then, in 2019, it was moved from behind the engine house to by the road, so whenever you drive by there, you can see the locomotive, and that's where it resides today. Now, as I said, it looks like a shell of its former self, rotting wood, rusted parts, but there is a restoration page which is being, I think, taken, or it's if you look it up, it's like something else, but I think it's being reworked or something. So yeah, and now let's get into technical specifications of the locomotive. The locomotive weighs 100,000 pounds, or 50 tons. And the locomotive has had a boiler pressure of 200 psi, and it used to burn coal. But now they're going to convert it into oil. And the locomotive's tractive effort is 22,000 pounds, which is quite a lot of tractive effort. And the locomotive is 92 years old to this very day, and coincidentally, I was born in December, and this locomotive was built in December. So yeah, that's a cool coincidence. So if you want to see more of this series, or for me to continue the series, let me know down in the comments. So yeah, hopefully we can see this locomotive up and running. They told me 6 to 9 years, or I think last year, so it's going to be 5 to 8 now. So yeah, hope you enjoyed my commentary, and let me know if I should do more of this series. So yeah, you can visit this locomotive at Roaring Camp Railroads in Felton, California. And if you have any questions about the locomotive, ask the people that work there, because, I just kind of got it from the internet searches and the people who work there. So yeah, hope you enjoyed. Let me know if I should do more. Have a good day.